of how God has used Pastor Steve Adams and Saddleback's children's ministry to grow 2 generations of godly leaders. My own children, and now my grandchildren, have been powerfully shaped by this process of discipleship. I promise you that if you listen to this book with an open mind and with an open heart to learn from both our mistakes and our successes, and if you are courageous enough to take some risks and put these insights into practice, it will revolutionize your ministry to children. And that will enable you to fulfill my prayer for you, which is my life verse from Acts 13:36, that just like David did, you will serve God's purpose in your generation. I would love to hear how this book has impacted your ministry. Write me at rick@pastorrick.com. Dr. Rick Warren, Senior Pastor, Saddleback Church. Introduction. Is this making a difference? Over the years, one question has echoed in the hallways of my mind, usually at the most inopportune moments. I often question my purpose and impact. I don't think I'm alone in this, and as I've talked with children's ministry leaders over the years, I've discovered that we all want to know that the time, effort, and energy we're investing actually makes a difference, that our work actually matters. Is all of this really making any difference? It's not easy to answer that question. When a preacher gives a message, he may receive immediate feedback from those listening. But in children's ministry, our audience doesn't usually rush up to us after a service. They don't come up to us and say, "This ministry is impacting my generation, and I want to thank you for all the effort and energy you have invested in our discipleship process." Yes, there are times when we hear a word of thanks, and sometimes the fruit of our labor is evident. But the vast majority of the time, we do not see the immediate fruit. In children's ministry, there is a lot of planting and cultivating before the harvest comes. As the Apostle Paul said, "I planted the seed in your hearts, and Apollos watered it, but it was God who made it grow." It's not important who does the planting or who does the watering. What's important is that God makes the seed grow. 1 Corinthians 3:6-7. Planting seeds is more than simply placing a seed in fresh dirt and immediately tasting the fruit of your labors. It takes long, hard work. Farmers understand that when they plant a seed in the ground, there is a process that goes with the planting. The progression from planting to harvest takes time and intentionality. It requires confidence that the planting process will work. We can have that confidence because we are told that God makes the seed grow. God has allowed us to be a part of a seed sowing process that has eternal implications. This is a process worth every minute of our planting efforts, regardless of the demands, obstacles, and sacrifices we face. God's Word tells us that our work does make a difference. You may be part of children's ministry because you believe in the importance of effectively discipling children. Or perhaps you're in children's ministry because you were tricked. Someone used that old, "Can you just fill in for a while?" line and you agreed. Regardless of why you are doing this ministry today, I believe you care about the children and this ministry, or you wouldn't have picked up this book. So why are you listening to this? Most likely, you love children. You want to see them grow to know Christ, and yet you worry that you aren't always effective in what you do, or you wonder if there is a better way. So let's start with that question. Is your ministry to children effectively leading kids towards spiritual health? Notice that I didn't ask you how many kids are in your ministry, how many volunteers you have, or whether you're happy with your curriculum. The key question we must wrestle with is whether we're effectively leading kids towards spiritual health. My goal for you in this book is to guide you on a journey of discovery. I'm not here to tell you how you should do children's ministry or to offer a one-size-fits-all methodology. I want to guide you through a process of discovery that will lead to greater health in your children's ministry, so your ministry will be effective in leading children towards spiritual health. This is sometimes called a philosophy of ministry, but it is not a philosophical idea that has no bearing on reality. This process of thinking through your ministry goals and objectives will lead to practical and measurable outcomes. As you move through each chapter, you will see not only how essential this process is, but you will also see how feasible and practical it is to implement. A truly healthy ministry isn't built solely on the personality of the leader or the creativity of the curriculum. It's not the result.